Amelia, a few weeks after losing her father following a long illness, often found herself wishing he could have met his grandchildren. A heavy sigh escaped her lips. The thought brought a familiar ache. 6 years earlier, at the age of 35, she'd married, and on that joyful day, she and her father had made a heartfelt promise. She would tell him first if she were expecting. A promise she could never fulfill, a regret that weighed heavily on her heart. Her father's illness had been diagnosed a year ago, and since then, Amelia has devoted herself to his care. She visited her childhood home more often, spent countless hours at the hospital with her mother, and made sure to call or video chat even more frequently. Despite her efforts, a nagging doubt persisted. Had it been enough? Could I have done more? She whispered, lost in thought. Her ever-supportive mother gently comforted her. Amelia, you did everything you could. Your dad knew that, and he was proud. Just then, Amelia's sister, Freya, walked in, followed by a man she guessed was around 48, presumably the lawyer. This is Jack, the attorney, Freya introduced him. Amelia's mother quickly offered him a seat. Once settled, Freya blurted out, "The lawyer mentioned Dad left us a significant inheritance." Amelia couldn't help but respond, "Freya, you know it's not all yours." The words hung in the air, instantly souring the mood. Amelia and Freya had a strained relationship, exacerbated by their father's illness. Freya's refusal to visit, despite Amelia's attempts to bridge the gap, had created a chasm between them. Her attitude had always been a barrier, and it only intensified during those difficult times. In hindsight, Amelia's words might have been too sharp, fueled by worry for their father. Freya's retort didn't help. "You're grown up. There's no need to be so obstinate," Amelia pointed out. "I'm not being obstinate. Living in the city and traveling to the countryside isn't as simple as you think. It's a 3-hour drive," Freya snapped. "But those 3 hours aren't just about time. It costs money," Amelia countered. "And yes, money is important to me. I'm busy, so just stop nagging me," Freya shot back, effectively ending the conversation. Amelia had always believed Freya could make an effort, a belief that contributed to the rapid deterioration of their relationship. Freya never visited their father, and the rift between them deepened. The tension in the room thickened until the lawyer intervened, suggesting they all take a moment to calm down. "I'm sorry," Amelia offered, her apology seeming to ease the atmosphere slightly. The lawyer then began, "As I mentioned over the phone, I'm here regarding your father's will." Amelia's mother whispered, puzzled, "When was this arranged?" "A few weeks before he passed," the lawyer replied. "Your father reached out to me. He asked you to come to the hospital." "Yes," her mother asked. "He asked you to come to the hospital?" "He did," the lawyer confirmed. "I drafted the will there with him, in the presence of his primary doctor. It was arranged that the doctor would notify me upon your father's passing, which is why I contacted you now." He pulled out a white envelope and placed it before them. Recognizing her father's handwriting, Amelia whispered, "That's Dad's handwriting." Freya, visibly impatient, demanded, "Just get on with it." "What does it say?" "You know I'm busy." The lawyer, with a hint of a smile, opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper outlining the inheritance, the house, land, some savings, and a storage shed. They knew about the house and land, but the storage shed was news to Amelia. Freya, frustrated, turned to the lawyer. "Wait, what about the farm?" "The farm?" the lawyer echoed, a bit surprised. "The farm?" "Yes, the farm Dad used to work on as a hobby," Amelia explained. Their father had run a successful business in a nearby town but had slowed down after turning 52, eventually considering closing the company to spend more time on his hobbies, including farming. This mention of the farm added another layer of complexity. During Amelia's high school years, she'd expressed a desire for a slower pace of life. Freya, then in college, had disagreed with this laid-back approach. However, Amelia and their mother, concerned about their father's health, supported the idea. "Don't fret over finances, Freya. We're well prepared with savings," their father had comforted her. Reluctantly, Freya had nodded her approval. Following this conversation, their father had indeed wound down his business and taken up farming near their home. Something is fulfilling about working with the land, he'd often say, his face lighting up with joy. Witnessing his happiness had reinforced Amelia's belief that they had made the right decision, though Freya seemed less convinced. Despite promising to return home after graduation, she pursued a career near her university, eventually marrying the CEO of an IT firm she met through her job. Freya insisted the farm be considered part of the inheritance. The lawyer, upon re-examining the documents, revealed that the farm was leased land. Mistakenly believing we owned a substantial tract of land, Amelia thought aloud. Freya looked visibly let down. The realization that the expansive land her father had used for vegetable farming was leased seemed to ease Amelia's initial disappointment. Knowing little about farming themselves, perhaps it was for the best. The discussion shifted to the division of the inheritance. The house and surrounding land will go to the wife, the lawyer outlined. Freya smirked, perhaps thinking about the remaining assets. The rest, including the savings and the storage shed, should be divided between the three of you, the lawyer suggested. Savings, that means cash, right? I'll take that, Freya stated, eyeing the liquidity. The total savings amount to approximately $100,000. This sum is not subject to inheritance tax, the lawyer informed them. I want the $100,000 in cash, Freya declared, a sense of victory in her voice. But such a one-sided arrangement didn't sit right with Amelia. Hold on, I don't agree. Why should you get all the cash? She protested. Because I'm the eldest, Freya argued as if that settled it. Fine, you can have the storage shed. What's that even worth anyway? Freya added dismissively, turning back to the lawyer. It's the shed adjacent to the farm. Whoever inherits it will own the structure, the land it's on, and anything inside it, the lawyer explained. Suddenly interested, Freya's attitude shifted at the mention of additional land. It struck Amelia as odd, married to a successful CEO, yet her appetite for more seemed insatiable. The lawyer explained the shed came with a small patch of land, roughly 75 square feet, about the size of a cozy bedroom. He then produced photographs of the shed, showing its neglected exterior and interior, filled with simple gardening tools. Freya made a face. I don't want this, she declared, scrutinizing the images. They showed nothing particularly valuable, more valuable for memories than monetary worth. Fine, you take the cash. I want nothing to do with that rundown shed, she stated, clearly eager to distance herself from what she saw as an unworthy inheritance. Hold on, that seems unfair, Amelia protested, realizing the imbalance. Freya had swiftly agreed to take the cash, knowing it was the more valuable asset, leaving Amelia with what she considered worthless. Her insistence made Amelia feel cornered, especially when her mother mentioned, as long as Freya doesn't voice any complaints later, I see no issue with this arrangement. Complain? Why would I? Freya quickly agreed, content with securing the cash for herself, leaving Amelia with the shed. Amelia couldn't hide her dissatisfaction, but before she could argue further, Freya dismissed her concerns, accusing her of being overly sentimental. You care more about our father than money, right? She challenged, leaving Amelia momentarily speechless. Family should be valued over money, but Freya's swift conclusion left Amelia feeling unsettled. In the end, Amelia's mother inherited the house and land. Freya happily took all of their father's savings, and Amelia was left with the neglected shed. After agreeing to the division, Freya even signed a document promising not to raise any disputes, laughing confidently as she did so. Amelia couldn't contain her frustration and later expressed her grievances to her mother. Why didn't you support me? Amelia asked, feeling let down. Her mother insisted she had helped, claiming her intervention had ensured Amelia received the shed. But I'm not pleased with just the shed, Amelia argued, unable to see its value. You might discover something unexpectedly wonderful if you give it a chance, her mother suggested optimistically. Despite her frustrations, her mother's words sparked a faint glimmer of hope. Maybe there was more to the shed than met the eye, a thought that lingered as she tried to reconcile with the day's events. After receiving the key from the lawyer, Amelia made her way to the shed, situated beside the field. A serene 20-minute walk from their house, along a rarely trodden rural path, led her to the fallow field her father had leased until his recent hospitalization. The surroundings held an untouched, solemn atmosphere. Unlocking the shed, she was greeted by a thick layer of dust, a testament to its long neglect. "Wow, it's dusty," she remarked, the air heavy with the scent of disuse. Despite the initial disappointment, she held onto the hope that something of her father's, a keepsake, perhaps, might be hidden within. As she surveyed the interior, it quickly became apparent that the shed was exactly as it seemed, a simple, utilitarian space filled with farming tools. These items, while potentially holding sentimental value, didn't immediately stand out as particularly special. "Maybe I should just take what's inside for now," she considered, her eyes scanning the dim, cluttered environment. That's when she sensed something peculiar about the shed's dimensions. It appeared smaller on the inside than it did on the outside, a discrepancy that puzzled her. Could it have been a trick of the light, or was her mind playing tricks on her? Stepping outside for a clearer perspective, she remained intrigued by the anomaly. Driven by curiosity, she decided to explore the shed's exterior, circling to its rear. There, hidden among a dense thicket of trees, she discovered a second door. "Wait, another entrance at the back?" she gasped. The interior wall of the shed had shown no signs of this door from the inside. It seemed as if there was only one way in or out. This realization hinted at a concealed space, accessible only from this mysterious rear entry. A surge of excitement washed over her. Could this be one of her father's secrets? He had a penchant for surprises, delighting in the unexpected joys they brought, much like the surprises he planned for her birthdays. Memories of those times brought tears to her eyes as she re-entered the shed, determined to find the key to this hidden door. Sure enough, after a thorough search, she found 3 keys ingeniously hidden within the handle of a shovel. Rushing to the rear door with a hopeful heart, she inserted one of the keys. With a satisfying click, the door swung open. Inside this cramped, secluded space stood a large safe, solitary and imposing. Is this from Dad's company? She wondered aloud, the presence of the safe sparking a whirlwind of questions. What secrets did it hold? Was this her father's way of leaving a final tangible piece of himself behind? The discovery hinted at layers of her father's life that had yet to be uncovered, a personal treasure hunt he had laid out for her to embark upon. She instantly recognized the safe as the one that used to sit in the corner of her father's office, a sight she remembered from her childhood. Embracing it, she was washed over by nostalgia. This safe was a tangible connection to her father, making the inheritance all the more meaningful. Yet, knowing her dad, this discovery felt like just the beginning of his final surprises for her. There's got to be more. She whispered to herself as she used the second key to unlock the safe. The door creaked open, revealing contents that left her utterly amazed, an unexpected legacy. Realizing the importance of sharing this discovery, she quickly secured the safe and went to inform her mother. Afterward, with her husband's assistance, they transported the safe from her parents' home. It dawned on her that these valuable items, undoubtedly part of her inheritance, might have tax implications. Determined to handle this properly, she decided to seek legal advice. Following the lawyer's suggestion, she contacted a certified public accountant, CPA, recommended by a friend to navigate the potentially complex tax situation. This professional took charge of the intricate details, ensuring everything was in order. A year passed. Unexpectedly, Freya showed up near Amelia's home, a surprise visit, especially considering their recent strained relationship over the inheritance. "I was just in the area," Freya claimed, but her uneasy demeanor and the fact that they lived 30 minutes apart made her visit seem less than casual. Despite their complicated history, Amelia invited her in. After serving coffee, Freya appeared restless, eventually asking, "Did you win the lottery or something?" Her questions puzzled Amelia. She never played the lottery, and it wasn't the season for her husband's holiday bonus. What are you getting at? Amelia finally asked, seeking clarity on her bizarre insinuations. Freya's mood shifted suddenly to irritation. Are you making fun of me? She accused. Her reaction puzzled Amelia even further. Her line of questioning seemed completely out of left field. Amelia had no idea what could have prompted such an inquiry or why she would think she had come into a sudden windfall, apart from the mysterious contents of the safe that only her family knew about. Freya was practically buzzing with curiosity about the subject of money, insisting that Amelia must have come into a significant sum. She recounted a recent encounter with their aunt in the city, who had unwittingly sparked her curiosity. Their aunt had mentioned receiving an $11,000 gift card from Amelia as a thank you for visiting their father during his illness. This gesture led Freya to speculate wildly that Amelia had stumbled upon some unexpected fortune. You've come into some money, haven't you? Just admit it, Freya pressed. Understanding the root of her inquiry, Amelia let out a sigh, which only seemed to irritate Freya further. What's with the attitude? Are you making fun of me? Freya demanded. Amelia tried to explain it was simply a gesture of appreciation, which led Freya to question the source of the funds for such gifts. Amelia reminded her of the inheritance, specifically the dirty shed. She had disdainfully mentioned and revealed the discovery of the safe inside, a true treasure trove left by their father. The safe contained a collection of valuable watches, a passion of their father's. Though unsure of their exact worth, it was evident they held considerable value, especially given the modest amount of savings left. This revelation led to a discussion about the potential need to pay inheritance tax, a concern their mother had raised upon learning of the safe's contents. What should I do, Mom? Amelia asked, seeking her wisdom. Her mother advised handling the matter transparently, suggesting that such secrets have a way of coming to light eventually. Following her counsel, Amelia reached out to the lawyer they had previously consulted, who clarified that the value of inherited items indeed determines the applicable inheritance tax. This led her to take the responsible step of accurately declaring the inheritance, ensuring compliance with the legal and financial implications of her newfound wealth. In seeking professional advice, she learned that a CPA could efficiently manage the valuation and tax obligations of the inherited watches. Entrusting this task to the accountant, they discovered the collection was valued at a staggering $500,000. Given their high value, the implication was clear: inheritance tax was due. The sensible course of action, as advised, was to retain only those pieces that held sentimental value to Amelia and sell the others. This approach not only made financial sense, but also felt right emotionally. From the proceeds of the sale, she managed to cover the inheritance tax and also extend her gratitude through gift cards to relatives who supported them during their father's illness. This is what sparked her sister's curiosity. Among the keepsakes she chose to keep was her father's pocket watch, a piece not of great monetary worth, but rich in memories. She shared this story with Freya, showing her the pocket watch, trying to convey its sentimental value. However, Freya's reaction was lukewarm, seemingly more interested in what was sold than what was kept. When Freya inquired about the remaining watches and the whereabouts of the safe, Amelia informed her it was at their mother's house, explaining the safe's size and its historical significance to their father's business. Freya's response was contemplative, leaving Amelia feeling uneasy about her intentions. Yet, she departed without further questions, much to Amelia's relief, though she couldn't shake off a nagging sense of worry. Her fears were somewhat confirmed that very night. A distressing call from her mother urged Amelia and her husband to hurry to her house. As they neared, the scene was alarming. Red lights flashed in the darkness, and police cars were stationed outside. Making her way through the gathering crowd, Amelia found her mother and learned of the evening's harrowing events. Her mother had been preparing for bed when unusual noises startled her. It sounded like someone was frantically searching through the house. Believing a burglar had broken in, and with no one else home to help, her mother made a quick decision to escape through a window, a move driven by fear and desperation. The situation she described was unnerving, painting a night filled with panic and uncertainty. Under the veil of night, her mother noticed the eerie glow of a flashlight moving inside the house, confirming her fears of a burglary. In a state of panic, she sought help from their neighbor, who, upon witnessing the suspicious activity, wasted no time in calling the police. Convinced a burglar was at large, yet the supposed intruder was none other than Freya, who had decided to search the safe after hearing about Amelia's inheritance earlier that day. Without any way to identify her intentions, both Amelia's mother and the neighbor were understandably alarmed. The situation escalated when the police arrived. Caught off guard and enveloped in guilt, Freya attempted to flee the scene, her actions fueled by misguided panic. Ironically, her escape efforts led her to collide with the safe, causing the unsteady safe to topple over and trap her underneath. This accident led to her being rushed to the hospital with complaints of leg pain, leaving them all in disbelief over her reckless actions. Following this chaos, Amelia's mother and she found themselves apologizing to the responding officers for the misunderstanding. Amelia also felt compelled to inform Freya's husband about the incident, only to discover from him that Freya had been harboring a significant amount of debt due to her extravagant spending on luxury items. Their recent argument had culminated in her storming out, determined to borrow from her mother to settle her financial woes. Unbeknownst to them, she had already depleted her inheritance in an attempt to cover her debt. Freya's husband, already on edge from discovering the extent of her financial mismanagement, declared his intention to divorce her upon learning of her latest escapade. This revelation shed light on Freya's desperate actions that night, which had led to a tumultuous scene at the hospital where her husband broached the subject of divorce. The entire ordeal unfolded into a dramatic clash, underscoring the profound consequences of Freya's actions and the turmoil they had wrought upon their family. Freya was adamant. "I'm not getting a divorce, absolutely not," she insisted. Yet, the reality of her situation became undeniable when her husband presented the divorce papers. Faced with the stark evidence of their fractured relationship, she found herself with no option but to sign them. Now confined to her hospital bed with a mixture of shock and resignation, she was turning the pages of a part-time job magazine, evidently scheming on ways to tackle her debt through newfound employment. This turn of events, while unfortunate, offered a glimmer of hope that she might finally take responsibility for her actions. In the wake of these tumultuous events, Amelia made a significant decision to return to her childhood home. The chaos had certainly stirred a deep concern for her mother's well-being, but another, happier reason spurred her decision. She discovered she was expecting. After much discussion, Amelia and her husband agreed that moving back would be best, allowing them to lean on her mother's support with their growing family. Though she regretted that her father couldn't be part of this joyous news, she found comfort in believing he would have shared in their happiness. As she navigated this new chapter, the anticipation of welcoming a healthy child filled her with a sense of peace and forward-looking optimism, despite the recent family strife.